focused on third down and red zone today. We just about have our complete game plan in for Sanford. Our seniors are very excited about playing their last home game here at home as well. I know their families are too.
You guys mentioned it's the last home game for them. This is also the kind of game and the kind of opponent you would look to get some younger players in for more than they might normally. Do you have a set time for when you want to put Jeremy in this game?
You know, right now we want to play our best. We want to get our edge back. And if that opportunity presents itself, you know, we'll be ready.
But you're planning for Jeremy to play at least some portion of the game?
We'll see. I mean, we'll see. We're planning on getting our edge back and playing better and trying to improve in all three areas. And if the opportunity presents itself, it would be great to get some young guys to play.
Have you guys continued to develop a role for him every week, or is that kind of the back burner with Nick performing?
Yeah, I mean, there's been times, but those opportunities got to present themselves in special situations, and there's been times that they have, and there's been times that they haven't.
Has Xavier Dampier taken more first-team reps this week?
He's taken some.
You know, Cody Burns, you just talk about what type of guy he is, and a lot like Rhett a few years ago, he's in that same position.
Yeah.
Do you think he's got a shot to kind of go up the ranks just as Rhett did, maybe just as fast?
Yeah, I truly believe Cody Burns has everything it takes to be a very successful coach at this level. He's a great competitor. He was a quarterback. He understands the game very well. He can work under pressure, and he's got great communication skills.
I hear he's been trying to throw some funny jabs at you guys about you're going to be out of town and he'll be around here, so maybe he'll sneak in the office and get the game plan.
Yeah, no, he won't do that. I promise he won't do that.
You kind of touched on this yesterday, but after Rhett spent that year at Sanford, how was he different when he rejoined your staff?
Well, anytime you go off and, you know, he got a chance to run his own offense and everything that goes with it, and, you know, had the staff, and just that year experience really helped him in a lot of areas. I know that was a great experience for him there.
Gus, the masses out there, and you probably seriously don't read it or hear it, but are up in arms about the defense. Do you feel like in these three losses that maybe the blame, if that's the right word, should be spread around a little bit more?
Well, I mean, you look at the last game, and the offense didn't play very good at all. So, you know, and we didn't play great on special teams either. So, you know, it's just a matter. Anytime you lose two games like we did, it's a team effort. And like I said earlier, you know, we need to play well or better in all three areas. Our guys understand that. Our coaches understand that. And like I said the other day, we're committed to doing that, and I truly believe we will.
That's kind of a bigger issue question here. We came up last week with Todd Gurley, obviously getting hurt now for the season with ACL. Georgia had been paying his loss of value insurance for the past 2 years. When you have players of that caliber, is Auburn currently covering such insurance for anybody, and will you plan to for guys?
Yeah, I'll say this: we have in the past for certain players.
Would you look to do that for specifically Sammy and Duke?
We always want to do what's best for our players.
I was gonna. How do you decide which? How would you decide which player to?
Well, there's you know, areas to that they have to be evaluated, and draft status and all that before insurance, you know, comes into play.
Is there a conscious limit for the program, just as far as, I mean, you could have, for instance, next year several players who could be eligible for such a thing. Is there a financial limit?
Well, there's a draft status that determines, you know, the financial limits as far as all that goes.
No, maybe as far as how much the program can spend, or how many players you could cover as a program.
Yeah, it just depends.
Is that something that y'all contact the NFL for, or y'all, how do you figure out?
Yeah, you figure out the factual information.
Has there been a reason behind where you haven't maybe run as many trick plays as you have in the past, just over this last 2 seasons? Really, we're really kind of known for that, and we haven't seen it a lot.
Yeah, we've ran a couple this year. We do have, you know, our full arsenal, but, you know, a lot of times you're only run them, you know, first of all, when it feels right, and second of all, when the odds of being successful are very high. So I think those two variables have played into a fact, and then sometimes how the game's going too. But we do have a full arsenal, and, you know, there's no reason other than that.
Is there a point during the Georgia game when you guys were down so far, thought about trying to break a play or two out?
No, not late, no.
Did the call at the goal line earlier in the year when you had the reverse with CJ on that, I think it was 4th down, Did that in any way impact some of your decision-making when it came to trick plays?
No, not at all. Matter of fact, a play like that, that's a standard play for us. You know, would have liked probably to be a couple yards closer. It probably would have been a little more effective.
Just given some of the mistakes you guys had on special teams last week, did that make you force, you know, doing any extra stuff on that this week, or did it not really change anything?
Yeah, you know, I think anytime you make mistakes, I mean, you know, as a coach, you focus on that area about what went wrong, why it went wrong, you know, what do we need to do to correct it. So, you know, you do that in all three phases, and we're definitely doing that in special teams too.
Gus, is there a balance you kind of want to hit with, you know, getting the offense back into a rhythm, but also not open yourself up to injury or anything like that, given the game you got next week?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's strategies to every game, but like I said, I mean, we need to go out there, we need to play well, we need to get that edge, and, you know, we're going to do that, and hopefully that, you know, no one gets injured and all that, but, you know, that's part of the game of football, and we need to play well this week.
Do you focus at all this week on the Iron Bowl, and what do you do if someone brings it up?
We're focused on Sanford.
Just if something were to happen to Sean, I mean, are you confident that Braden Smith could start? I mean, he's been listed backup all year. Do you think things have to be moved around? Do you want to put him back
No,
on?
you know, I think he's in a good spot. He's got a lot of reps in practice. He's got some gaming experience, you know, even though a lot of it's been tied in. You know, a lot of the same communication. He's got a lot of good reps in practice. So we have a lot of confidence in him, and I don't think it'd be a problem at all to put him out there. I know that he's a great competitor, and he's extremely talented.
I would say on that point, I mean, have we reached the point in the season where you always hear it's like, well, they're technically not freshmen anymore? Like in your eyes, where do they go from being freshmen to kind of being that?
Yeah,
mid-year
it's
time?
you know, it's really probably a couple of weeks ago, you know, when they played in multiple games and they prepared multiple times in practice. I mean, there comes a point that, you know, you definitely don't consider them as being rookies anymore.
Was Duke able to get on the practice field at all yesterday, today?
Yeah, he dressed out.
So is there any plan to play at all Saturday?
We'll see. It's day to day.
Do you worry about just re-injuring it or getting worse before playing the biggest game of the year next week?
Yeah, I mean, all those things come into play, you know, as a coach. But, you know, anytime they get on the practice field and they're practicing, that's a good thing.
All right, Coach. Thank you.